Hello everyone, welcome to my assignment video. I'll start off with the learning targets. There's three of them. Define key vocabulary words associated with the standardized testing process. To accurately describe the difference between a norm referenced and a criterion reference test. Many of you already know that, as I saw in your initial baseline survey. And to be able to intelligently discuss the intricacies of creating a large-scale standardized test, which many people have no clue about, yet still they argue against using them. In the next several sessions, we will be exploring the intricacies of creating large-scale tests along with the topics of validity, reliability, and absence of bias or fairness. These are terms that get tossed around a good deal. I will hear these in this discussion board, how these tests are not fair. Okay, what does that mean they're not fair? These tests are not valid. They're not reliable for poor kids. Well, that's not how we check for reliability. Reliability is a very simple concept. It's consistency. Does this test produce consistency of results over time? So these are things that you need to get in your head so you can talk about it intelligently. You can argue against large-scale standardized tests, and there are many reasons why you would be right. But do it intelligently. Don't say they're not valid when you don't understand what validity is and how you determine it, especially content-related validity. For instance, here's an example. I had a colleague of mine who was a high school social studies teacher complain on social media that the snow days were affecting the validity of the Regents exam. Maybe someone can tell me what's wrong with that statement in the coming weeks. Okay, assignments for the next session. You'll have a regular discussion board on hard as the dickens, the care that goes into creating large-scale standardized tests. There are many reading materials that you can and should connect to, especially my presentation. I always say that. In session and Chapter 6 in Cohen and Spencer and Chapter 13 in Popham as well. We're talking about the technicalities of creating large-scale tests, and there are a lot of technical terms that you will be encountering in this session. There is even a short article written by yours truly. See if you can find it about how standard are standardized tests. Remember, you start losing points if your initial post is later than 7 days, so that means you have the whole week to make your initial post to get a grade of A in that timeliness characteristic. You need to post within the first 4 days to get an A+. And many people got angry about that, but that's an advanced level. You can get an A in the first 7 days, so you don't have to. So it shouldn't make you angry. I don't expect you to just to list a summary of the readings in your initial post. I've mentioned this before. So-and-so said this. Kamara said this. Tosh said this. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to have an opinion about these things, to answer the questions that I've posed and support your opinions with information from those articles. So don't just summarize them. That's not a good initial post. We will be looking, the first 4 days of this discussion board will end on October 25th. So that's 4 days from Monday, Tuesday. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if you are looking for the A+. So we will be looking at cost. Many of you will rail about the cost. However, there's an article that details the cost of creating these tests. Be informed before you start ranting to see how big of a percentage the cost of these tests are compared to a district's total budget. There's also an article about becoming a psychometrician. What's that, you say? Inquiring minds will find out. There's much out there on the web to support whatever your opinion is. A good place to start is to go to procon.org, and I have a link to that in my teaching memo, and I'm going to bring it up here to show you what it looks like, because it does a nice job of talking about what, generalizing. Proponents say this, opponents say this, and then here are the arguments. Standardized testing has not improved student achievement. Standardized tests are unreliable. Okay, I mentioned that before. And here are the pros. Standardized tests are reliable and objective measures of student achievement. And there are footnotes, so there's evidence to support them. So all your arguments are right here. So you have to choose which side you want to take, and whether. So you have to decide which one you want to argue for or against, and there's evidence there to support that. Remember to upload your initial post in session 5. I will show you where that is. Let me go there. And this video will be located, I'll be replacing this one here. So you can upload your initial post in learning activities. Remember, it's only to be checked by SafeAssign. It's worth 1%, and it's pass-fail. So if you upload it, you get 100. So it's 1%. So that's 1 point on your grade. But I check it for APA. So make sure you click here, upload it as a Word document, please, or a PDF file. But you do cut and paste it into the discussion board. When you go on over here to all discussions, or you click on the discussions, you will you'll put it in there here as a Word document. I mean, you'll cut and paste it into the text box as a reply. And I'll remove these. These are old groups. You're in the same group for discussion boards that you have been all along. So ignore those groups. Okay. There's a standard multiple choice quiz on the topic of norms and test scores. You should be able to find all the answers in Cohen and Spencer or Popham in my presentation. There is a hard copy in the sessions course material, as there always has been. You should download it and take it first. After taking the hard copy, I would suggest going into the quiz discussion board first and discussing questions you had trouble with. Remember, there's no answer giving in the discussion board. This is a formative tool where you enhance understanding by discussing the questions rather than giving answers. It would be just another form of copying if I allowed you just to give answers. I would then take the quiz online and then go back into the quiz discussion board and talk about the ones you got wrong. Unfortunately, most of you will immediately take it twice, what I call a missed opportunity. Finally, keep going on your vocabulary on your own words. There are a couple of terms in this session's material: norm and criterion reference tests and standardized tests. If you do this as the course moves along, you won't be stressed when it is due on the last day of the course. And the same goes for the final baseline survey. And you can find those right in the beginning of the, I might as well show you where it is. Right in the coursework by session. And when you click on the session folder, it will be, you'll see at the bottom there's the anchor activities baseline survey template and the vocabulary in your own words template. So listen to Dr. Tom when he tells you, save you time at the end. So I look forward to your comments and your discussions on large-scale standardized tests. Remember, be civil and keep an open mind.